John Moore is as close as your telephone. Call him right now, 1-800-313-9443.
All right, back, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Sunday, the 31st of October. Lucas, you're about to jump right in there and give us what your input is about NASA talking publicly about the 10th planet, the destroyer.
Oh, yeah, they just admitted it on March 11th of this year, actually. An article that was written by NASA came out titled, Sun's Nemesis Pelted Earth with Comet, Study Suggests. And just Google NASA Nemesis, and you'll pull it up, and I'll just read a couple little excerpts from it. A dark object may be lurking near our solar system, occasionally kicking comets in our direction. Nicknamed Nemesis or the Death Star, the undetected object could be a red or brown dwarf star or even a darker presence several times the mass of Jupiter. And it says that our solar system is surrounded by a vast collection of icy bodies called the Oort cloud. If the Sun were part of a binary system in which two gravitationally bound stars orbit a common center of mass, this interaction could disturb the Oort cloud on a periodic basis, sending comets whizzing towards us. So this was a NASA article that just came out in March of this year. And they talk about it. They just, it's just that Fox doesn't jump on it and ram it down everybody's throat.
Right. Well, they certainly could take something like that and make it as big a story as they wanted to, couldn't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the asteroid impact down in Colombia was a huge story, and still my personal friends, are blown away that happened and they didn't see a peep about it on the mainstream news. I mean, you think that scientists would be running down there with all their instruments, and, hey, we need to get all the measurements to find out exactly what happened, but nothing.
Well, it's much more important who Paris Hilton is dating than silly things like that.
Yeah. Well, it's bread and circuses, it's the bread and circuses.
I know. Well, it's professional sports and what's going on with the movie personality. That's much more important. Did we lose Mike from Illinois? Did he hang out?
No, Mike is here. One more question.
Mike.
Okay. Has global warming been debunked? And could we attribute possibly the approach of planet or Star X, whatever you want to call it?
The destroyer,
anyway, go ahead.
Planet X. Well, they chose the term global warming. 1979, Mike. They wanted to have a cover story. They knew 30 years in the future what would be happening, which of course is right now. Bizarre weather-related events, some of which would be warming, and they now regret picking that as the verbiage that they picked. They more correctly now are using the term climate change. In the meantime, they've thoroughly discredited themselves, having started out with and hanging their hat on the global warming mantra and making themselves look like fools. It's all a cover story to conceal and keep people distracted from what's really going on. Now, many of these things we can attribute possibly to the destroyer planet or to the 10th planet. Many others, like earthquakes, for example, we've always had earthquakes. We're having a dramatic increase in earthquakes. Some may be related to the 10th planet, some may not be. It's very dangerous territory to get into when you start saying this is definitely part of the 10th planet in the absence of evidence. And I try not to do that. Lucas, go ahead and jump right in there.
Well, one thing I do notice, and everybody can notice this, is the brightness of the planets in the moon. Okay, anybody that's been around for more than 15 years on this planet can just look outside any given night when the moon's out, or you see Jupiter or Venus, and they are way brighter than they used to be. Because I've been looking up at the sky for a long time, and just over the last couple of years, they just keep getting brighter and brighter, and I'd have to say that's attributed most likely to this situation, and it might be something I think this is what causes the ice ages. Basically that the object has such a gravitational pull that sometimes it puts us in between it and the sun, and it pulls us away from the sun. That's why the orbit changed from 360 to 365 days back during the Egyptian times. And then I have a feeling sometimes it comes up and puts the sun in between us and it, which then the gravitational pull of both of them together pull us back closer to the sun, which give us these warming periods that humanity has blossomed in the past. So, I think it explains. I think there's barely anything that I see that happens now that's like, wow, that's related. There's so many things that are happening that seem very well related to the situation.
Right. Well, the evidence that I'm seeing, and I was just reading an article by Jonathan Gray this morning, is that in ancient, and when I say ancient, 10, 12,000 years ago, there were no polar ice caps. There was no part of the world that was not a very pleasant place to live 12,000 years ago. And, of course, that's obviously all changed. Mike, did we answer your questions?
Well, yes, yes, you did. What about the amateur astronomers? With their infrared equipment, if they even have any? I know that the night goggles are pretty advanced now. Will they be able to see this possibly, and at what point? And that I'll take it off the air.
Okay. Well, what I'm hearing, Mike, is that amateur astronomers in the southern hemisphere, New Zealand, Australia, the extreme south end of South America, they'll be able to see the 10th planet sometime this coming spring. Lucas, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't honestly know, or any. I've heard for a couple of years now, I've heard several people, put out videos. Oh, this is the 10th planet. This is it. I have no idea when it's coming. I think it's within the next couple of years, and I hope that we have a chance to see it before it just magically appears on the horizon.
Absolutely. Break coming up. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.